You're listening to CBC Online at cbchs.org.
CBC Online with Mike England. He's the president here at CBC. And Mike, we had a pretty exciting couple days when the accreditation review team came through and really gave us some high marks, 6 to 7 categories we received highly functional. Talk to us a little bit about the report and kind of what struck you and what stood out for you as president.
Well, I think the things, obviously the scores on the 7 standards, when you get of the 7 standards, you get 6 of those standards are the highest score that you can achieve, which are the highly functional scores. And the other standard is an operational, which is the second highest that you can receive. Those are obviously unbelievable scores, and from what we understand, no school has ever received 7 highly functional. So 6 and 1 is very, very good. But I think the things that they commended us on, the 5 commendations, really said to me that the visiting team really understood what we've been doing here and the type of a school that we have here right now. And those 4 commendations really speak to, I think, who we are right now.
So talk about those commendations. Can be specific and let us know specifically what they said.
Yeah, I think, the first commendation talked about the school fully embracing and living the mission of the school, the LaSallian mission. The fact that we understand what that means and working with a wide variety of young men with differences in academic abilities and ethnicities and socioeconomics and religious differences and geographic differences, and the fact that we embrace that mission and we meet those young men where they're at. We have a wonderful honors program. We have a wonderful learning needs program. We have wonderful classes in between all of that. And we're able to customize the education for our young men. So for me, that speaks to that they understood what the mission of the school was. The second commendation that we had is that we were a student-centered school. And I know for the last 5 years, you hear the kids talk about it. I remember Joe Huber, our salutatorian last year, talking about in his speech at graduation about this being a student-centered school. So not only do the teachers get it, the kids get it, I think our parents get it, that this is a student-centered school, and the fact that the visiting team not only heard it but believed it in their visit was pretty significant, I think, as well. They talked about collaborative decision making going on here, and I think that that's been a tremendous benefit of what we've done moving forward. We've got so many different constituencies that contribute to the direction of the school. It's not a top-down. It's not that it starts with the administration and it works its way down and they tell everybody what to do and we just do it and it all works. Everybody has input across the line, and it goes from the administration to the department heads, to the teachers, to our staff, to our students, to our parents, to our alums. And when all of that comes together, really, really great things can happen, which is what I think are going on here. And then the last commendation that we had, which again I think speaks to the type of school that CBC is, as opposed to maybe other schools, that we're committed to responding in an accelerated manner to school improvements. One of the things that was mentioned in the report here talked about our drug testing policy. And we're still the only school in the state of Missouri doing this drug testing policy, and we moved in this direction because we believed it was in the best interest of our young men. We've been doing it for 5 years now, and no one else has followed suit with that. That's other schools' decisions as far as what they do, but again, I think it speaks to our commitment to our young men and making sure that we give them the very best that we can, and that we make changes very, very timely manner when needed.
And certainly one of the recommendations that CBC has embraced was the whole concept of the school improvement plan and using data to derive a lot of decisions here. So, certainly they gave us some room, some things to work on.
Absolutely. And I think when you talk about, I've told people, 6 years ago, the average ACT score here at CBC was 21.2 and the state average was 21.6. As we sit here today, the state average is still 21.6, and the average ACT score here at CBC is 23.4. That's great improvement over a, probably relatively short period of time. And what we believe that we will do here is continue to raise those numbers, because we're going to continue to review the data, review the test scores, review the performance of our young men, and find ways that we can help them go further than we already have.
And finally, give us some perspective on the visiting team. These are people not associated with CBC necessarily, that they represent public schools, private schools. Talk about the visiting team and what they kind of brought to the process.
Well, I think they brought their experiences from their schools. One of the members of the team came from a public school, so he brought that, his experience with the public school. I think they all brought different things from their schools. And for lack of a better way, in talking with some of these people, I think that they're going to take a number of the things that they saw here that we're doing, and they're going to bring them back to their schools. I think in a lot of ways they were here to kind of find out. They heard about the good going on at CBC, and they wanted to see it for themselves and see if they could learn anything. And I think a number of them did pick up some things that they're going to take back to their own schools.
And the fact that this, the review comes, there's this exhaustive amount of paperwork, exhaustive amount of details that need to be worked out, but it also gives the school an opportunity to really look at itself before the team even gets here, and that was a real value.
It was an exhaustive process, but it was a great process. We've been working on this, my goodness, for the last 3 years that we probably started on this thing, and it really has allowed us to take a very close look at ourselves and see what we were doing well, but also see areas that we needed to improve in. And I think through this process, we made changes before the team even got here, because in going through the process, we saw some things, and we figured, why wait for the review team to come in? We already see that it's something that we need to improve at. Let's start on it right now, and that's what we did. And I think when you have, their recommendation is that we continue to implement our school improvement plan. Well, that school improvement plan started 2 years ago, and it was a result of this process, and we will continue moving forward on this and implementing this plan.
So the bottom line here is, CBC maintains its accreditation and is actually rated as a highly functional institution. I mean, you got to be very proud of that road that's gotten us to this moment. Yeah,
we've been accredited since 1927. But these scores here, not being able to look back on any scores, because I don't have any reports, but this is about as high of scores as we could have gotten on this report. Does it mean that we've reached the top of the mountain? No, we're never going to reach the top of the mountain. We're always going to continue to climb, always going to continue to try to improve and grow and get better, because that's what our young men deserve, and that's what we want for our young men. So we're doing really, really well right now. I'm really happy where the school is at right now, but we're going to continue this climb and continue trying to improve and grow and get better each and every day.
And certainly as you reach out for support from alumni, donors, parents, and just fans of the school, it's really important to be able to tell that story.
I hope people understand that, and I hope that they share the good news. And what I'm finding is sometimes when we go and talk with our alums, they don't have an understanding of what's going on here right now. They think it's still very similar to when they went here. And I can assure everybody here, this school right now, what we're doing right now, while there are a number of things that are very similar to when I was a student here, and Rob, when you were a student here, and when other alums were a student here, but we're all about this has all been a move from good to great. And CBC's been a very good school for as long as it's been around. But when I came in 5 years ago, we said, let's make that move from a good school to a great school. And that's what all these efforts have been moving toward. And I think that it's heading in that direction. We'll never come to that point that we've got it all figured out and we're top of the mountain. But we're going to continue striving and continuing to try to be the greatest school that we can be each and every day for our young men.
And again, in a couple of weeks, you're going to send a lot of young men out into the world as the class of 2012 graduates. And your own son and your nephew are in that class. How proudful are you of that event?
It's graduation. As I get kind of chills right now as you're saying it. It takes it's a very special time, and I think it's a very special time for the young men that walk across the stage, very special time for the parents, of which I'll get to be a proud parent and a proud uncle at graduation. But as the leader of this school, it's such a great day to watch each and every one of these young men walk across the stage, because you remember when they came in as freshmen, and to see the transformation that has occurred over the 4 years is just an incredible thing, and something that I'm so proud of.
Again, that's CBC President Mike England talking about the accreditation and welcoming our newest alumni, the class of 2012, and we'll check you next time.
Thanks.
CBC, Men for Tomorrow, Brothers for Life.